A reinvigorated franchise for a new generation. It sounds like a Coca-Cola advert, but it is actually for Assassin's Creed Unity. Bruno, how's E3 for you? What are you guys showing here?
Today we're showing Assassin's Creed Unity, the new installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise. It's a game taking place in the French Revolution setting with the main character called Arno. He's going to go through a redemption quest through the French Revolution, and through that he's going to be exposed to the Assassin, to the Templar, getting into those order and seeing the conflict between those two factions. Yeah.
Let's talk the big news, 4-player.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, with 4-player, is it a drop-in, drop-out thing, or is there a single-player campaign and then a separate 4-player mode campaign alongside that?
Separate mode. Every mission is part of the story of Arno. Some of them are Brotherhood mission that you can take on with your friends, and some are limited to Arno. But the entirety of the game, like playing in Paris, exploring, collecting stuff, you can do it with your friends, 4-player actually. There's just limited, some missions are for single player, some missions are from 1 to 4. Basically all missions can be played also to get single.
Can you talk about how is that imagined in the game? So if you're playing a single player game, does a friend request pop up saying come?
Yeah, and even if you're playing the game, while you wander in the 3D world, every tavern of the city, if your friends are connected, currently playing, they'll be present in your tavern. You can actually browse and go around them, see what they're currently playing, ask them to join at the current state of their mission, or just join their world, play with them. You can also go to the menu eventually, but it's immersive within the world actually, and you drop in their games from the get-go and you play together. The progress is then shared on both games.
Let's talk changing control schemes, tweaking it and stuff. Now, that feels like you've got a halfway house there of, so it's not like a wholly new control scheme, but it's not the old one, it's sort of like a tweak. Yeah. Why did you decide that middle ground? What was the decision behind that?
Because obviously the players are used to our control scheme a bit also, and we had place for improvement. We went deeper in our main pillars. I would say navigation, we wanted more precision. We developed something called control descent, so going down. Now RT and B are going down or going up if you're using the A button, obviously, and depending on the console, sorry. So we put more precision on that, more control on the player. Same thing for the fight actually, we give you more control on the fight moves, and we let a lot of space for actually tactical choice when you are playing co-op and against the enemy. So they're going to strategize better against you, they're going to strike more coordinated against you. And the stealth also, we dedicated a stealth button in the game, so now it's a stealth mode. You enter the stealth, you can actually take covers on objects. You also move silently within the game, so you can approach your enemy silently, closer, kill them. So all those changes were incorporated into the control scheme we had previously, but we added new stuff with that. Yeah.
So I was going to ask that, I mean, when you guys approached creating this game, was it very much like you guys took the original template, or what was the pre-existing template of Assassins so far, and then tweak and build, or did you sort of try and go refresh, right, we'll build up, this still makes sense, this maybe we need to tweak? How did you approach it?
Yeah. We had to do a bit of that actually, because having the next gen leap to do, we had to redefine all our pillars also. Like I said, navigation, fight, and stealth, I've gone through revamping. So we had to make some choice at one point and decided where our focus was, and we early on decided that it was part of the shared experience. So every development part of Assassin's Creed was made and to favor the cooperation between players, to favor the systems that are working together in cooperation, and actually combination of player also, and different types of player that have different types of skills, want to exploit them more with the progression system that we have put in place also. So all the decisions were based on that shared experience. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about customization. I mean, we saw during the demo about one guy with an axe, one guy with swords and stuff like that. How deep does the customization go for your character? And actually, off the side of that, if you're playing Arno, yep, but then you go into a multiplayer game, who stays as Arno? How do you factor that in?
Yeah, on your console, you're always going to be Arno. everybody who plays single is Arno. When you get into those missions, it's a brotherhood mission, we call. It's actually the Assassin's Guild taking on a bigger challenge. Like in previous title, I don't know if you remember, you were sending assassins on duty. This time around, it's you and your friend who actually do that. So it's a group of assassins tackling a duty. So everybody has their customized Arno. On their console, eventually they're gonna have the Arno faces, and other player will have their own faces, their other faces actually, but having their customized Arno the way they want to actually. Yep.
And there's no option to like change sex or anything like that. It's all for males.
That we focused our attention on the story of Arno and the customization of that character. Yes. Yep.
Now, with the sign in Paris, obviously enough, I've talked to a lot of French guys, even just after this is being announced, and they're very passionate about this. And I mean, that's very true of whatever city is represented in the Assassin's Creed franchise. But how have you guys approached the city now with the new gen power behind it? Have you approached it any differently in trying to represent the city? Has it grown out, expanded, what?
Yeah, I think it's more depth than ever before. If you have the chance to see the demo, you'll see that we've got seamless interior-exterior, and we went really far on that. A lot of buildings have interiors. We have an average of 1 per 4 buildings as an playable interior. All our major landmarks have. It's really cool. Yeah, you can actually get in Notre Dame. You can get from the front door, get from the church bell, get from the crypt beneath it, and all the interior of Notre Dame is playable. And it's the same for most of our landmarks. Sainte-Chapelle is playable. We even recreated landmarks that are not existing anymore, like the Bastille, the emblem of the French Revolution, was all recreated, and you can live and you can play within it. Also, like I touched a bit, the idea of underground. We have huge networks of underground underneath the city, the sewers, the catacombs. The catacombs are pretty famous in Paris. We've recreated them also. So all this creates a lot of, it's a rich playground. It's not only streets and rooftops. Now you can enter buildings, you can enter landmarks, and you can even find entrances underneath and figure out a way to enter a building by the underneath. I could be wandering in a building, find a trapdoor, get into the sewers that links to the cathedral church and entering by the church. So it's awesome.
You said mentioning about that, about the underground system, the caverns and everything. One of the big, real popular things from like Assassin's Creed 2 was almost those sort of Prince of Persia style parkour little mini challenges. Are we going to see like that returning because you have these in the game? I
don't think we can comment at this point, but you can expect this returning feature, yes, and still some surprises to go on that, yeah.
During the gameplay demo that we saw, certainly on the presentation on the show floor, I mean, we saw you trying to chase a thief, we saw a murder mystery, sort of like mini side mission, and there's a bit where we came up onto one of the roofs and we had all the icons, sort of like maybe a smattering of 5 or 6 icons that represented, I'm assuming, sort of side missions that basically go on. Can you go into them?
Also.
Opportunities, yeah.
Yeah, they represent side mission and they represent opportunities. The concept behind it is that the rooftop is the assassin domain. So we want the player to get on the rooftop, plan ahead. So he's going to see his hide spot, he's going to see his side content, he's going to see the shops around it. So he can plan better how to strike and how to reach his objective. So,
excellent. Now, we had a bit of a twist with Assassin's Creed 3. We had a bit of a change with Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 3, obviously, you start off as a Templar. Yep. Assassin's Creed 4, you're on a boat most of the time. Yep. This feels like you're actually almost returning back to that sort of classic feel of Assassin's Creed 3. And I guess it might be going into spoiler territory, I understand, but are you approaching it maybe in a slightly different way so there will be surprises for fans?
There will be surprises. For sure there will be surprises. What we know at this point and that we can communicate is that it's closer to the root, you're right. We wanted also in that installment of Assassin's Creed Unity to be closer to the conflict between the Assassin and Templar. We know that it's a 7th iteration of Assassin's Creed, so new players that are entering the brand needs to understand quickly what is the conflict between those two factions, what it is to become an assassin. So the story Arno will go through that process and we will relive it, and it's closer to the roots of the assassin.
Okay, and sort of finally then wrapping up, who is Arno? What's his personality type like? I mean, we've had a brash rogue, we've had a cocky Italian, we've had a very serious mixture. I mean, is he an experienced guy? Is he an amateur? How's he factoring in the story?
Yep. Personality of Arno is. Personally, I would describe it. It's not, but he's kind of he's somebody who has a strong personality. He's going to discover a lot of stuff, so you're going to discover at the same time as him. And he's not somebody who gets dictated every time what to do. He has a strong opinion on things, and he will act upon his opinion and upon his choice. And that will lead to interesting development in the story also.
Oh, just one final thing. Is there still going to be present-day first-person sequences?
Yeah, it will still be present. What we can tell right now is the Black Flag has introduced the idea of being in the present as the player, the protagonist. We're going even further with that. So we're really addressing it like you are the protagonist in the present. We're addressing directly to the player.
Yep. Thanks very much. Have a great E3.
It was my pleasure. Sorry.
I got my hands.
And that's it. Experience the chaos of the French Revolution with your friends in Assassin's Creed Unity. Thank you.